Welcome, Spartans, to Mission Debrief. We're playing every mission in the mainline Halo video games in chronological order, discussing our experiences and throwing you a high and tight fastball of lore along the way. I've watched a lot of baseball lately.
I see.
If you'd like to play along and have your thoughts spread on the show, email us at podcastevolved@gmail.com or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. If you like what you hear and want to support the show, visit Evolved on Patreon for everything Evolved has to offer. Visit evolvedhalo.com.
It's time for Mission Debrief, Spartans.
This episode, we're debriefing the Silent Auditorium mission from Halo Infinite. I'm your host, Colin Perkins, alongside David Arnold.
Hello, everybody.
And Krista Brown.
How about those endless, eh?
What are the... What? The...
Huh?
They just never end.
Yeah. It's infinite.
Oh?
Are they new? Right? What are they?
We don't know.
Oh.
They're the Halo fans that endlessly complain about all the games.
Yes,
they're the most dangerous thing in the Halo universe. At the end, it's just like a mirror. It's like, oh, you were the threat to the universe the whole time.
They are a bigger threat than the Flood. That's brilliant. Last mission was House of Reckoning. Escharum set up a number of combat trials that Master Chief had to overcome alongside more chest-beating monologues before he could attempt to save Echo 216. Actually, okay, I did a little research. Echo 216 is the Pelican. It's not the person, so he's trying to save the pilot. So apologies if you've been screaming at your microphone or at your speakers the entire time.
Yeah, like
Echo
the
216
I
is
think
a
that's
plane.
fine because that's what pops up every time he speaks. It says
true.
Echo 216. So
I mean, we're used to like Faux Hammer and Echo 419 and blah blah blah.
Anyway, that's my correction. So mark it down. It has been corrected. So stop yelling at me. All right. So Jega failed to stop John in a 1v1, which paved the way for an epic showdown between two legendary warriors. Chief bests the banished war chieftain, but shows him respect in his dying breath. Now, in the Silent Auditorium, the mystery of the ring's destruction is finally revealed. Cortana left a breadcrumb trail of memories that outlined her final chat with Atriox and planned to sacrifice herself to stop him from taking Zeta Halo. However, Harbinger, the threat that was unearthed in the wake of Cortana's death, still needs to be stopped. Date of the game is May 28th, 2560. Last mission, and we finally got to deal with Harbinger. We dealt with big ol' Escharum. He's dead. Atriox is maybe dead. I guess we'll find out more about this mission. So the Banished are in shambles, and now we have this floaty lady squid person to deal with.
And she talks hella smack.
She does. But she's not as good as the Didact, though, is she? Like, she's alright.
Maybe not, but she's just what a courageous effort. It's wasted.
Yeah, we'll talk about that towards the end.
Smack,
I feel like there's some things to discuss there. We do have a cutscene right away. David, do you want to talk about this quick?
Yeah, it's a nice and quick one. You're in the back of the Pelican. You're dropping off. It's kind of a rough ride. The pilot is like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" Like, he doesn't say anything. He just kind of opens it, and they just kind of pop out. It's very quick. It's like they're all waiting for us. They're all there. But it's fine. Chief just jumps off. He's ready for his mission. He knows what he's doing. The weapon pops up and kind of says like this kind of weird floaty Cortana memories. Because they realize, okay, the Silent Auditorium is actually where she locked down Cortana. So this is where Cortana died. So there's kind of like a level of significance here on top of the end of the game. It's like the last boss. You're like, okay, this is where Cortana died. This is where John's been trying to get to and understand the whole time, the whole game. So it's kind of cool. It sets up a little bit of the stakes, but it's just a quick intro. You're dropped off and straight away you're in the mission.
Yeah, so you get dropped off, and I feel like, this is the big resistance point, right? Because they know you're coming here. Harbinger is in here, and the Banished are doing everything they can to stop you from getting to her. Remember we talked about it a little while ago, and we've probably covered this, but just as a refresher, like the Banished goals align with the Harbingers in the fact that the Banished want the ring to be repaired, and the Harbinger wants the ring to be so they want the ring to be repaired in order to just have a complete ring and be able to use it. But the Harbinger wants the ring to be repaired so that she can resurrect the Endless. So that's why the Banished essentially, Escherum's dead. They may or may not know that, but they're still fighting and trying to stop Chief because they still want the ring to be repaired, right?
I mean, the Harbinger only wants a specific part of the ring to be repaired, which is the Silent Auditorium, so that she can open the Endless or whatever the fuck she's doing.
Right.
But the Banished want to essentially, like, populate the ring as a homeworld now. Yeah. So the fact that it's a super weapon is convenient for them. But they're like, we need somewhere new to live.
Yes, exactly. This is one of the, the sloggiest parts of the mission here. This entry spot. I like it. I like where you kind of dropped off on the side and you have to, you feel like you're kind of sneaking up. You're like, it's like a one-man ambush, I guess. There's lots of resistance. There's lots of, there's I think 4 turrets maybe in total, and lots of Banished. Krista, how do you like this initial encounter?
I like it. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of weapons. If you're like me, you took Escherum's something of hope
hammer thing.
Yeah.
I think it's called Diminisher of Hope.
Yeah. You took that and you're like, oh shit, yeah. So I killed all of the elites with that because there's a gold one and an ultra.
Smush them.
Yeah, it's so good. I love that thing. It's so cool. But yeah, no, I think it's cool. I think you now have all the gizmos and gadgets that you want to use if you want to use them, and this is a great environment to be able to kind of move around and use all of the stuff you've learned and pick up a bunch of different weapons. So I liked it. I like these kind of firefighty areas.
Yeah, I don't think we'll dwell on these too much. There's a couple different, I don't know, like you said, firefight areas in the game, but there's so much story that I feel like we need to focus a lot of our time on that as well. So forgive us if we don't go into too much detail on all of these.
The auditorium isn't very silent. It's full of exposition.
Yeah. But I feel like overall these firefights are better than some of the other missions where it's story heavy and then there's also firefights. These ones are at least a little more interesting to me. David, any thoughts on this initial spot, quick?
No, not really. It's a nice intro, like a battle to begin the mission. But yeah, the main meat of this mission is like this is where you get all the game's story. Essentially, it just happens now in this mission.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a ton in a couple missions ago. There was a big lore drop, and this has a big lore drop as well. Once you get through this area, did you guys notice the Halo 4 music?
No.
Yeah. So you get through, you get to the very end, and then there is a door you go through, and then there's like the Halo 4 chants right towards the end. It's really similar.
Like do 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 do.
No, the da 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 da.
Oh, okay.
There's like a little bit of a callback there in the music,
There's a lot of callback in the music in this level, though. There's a ton.
And it makes sense. You're in this weird Forerunner-y place, so I felt like that was appropriate. But that was good for me. Cortana shows up. So Cortana shows up quite a bit here and there throughout the mission, and she appears in the memory hologram thingamajiggers. So we see that quite a bit here. She shows up right here at the beginning. And what does she say here? Find it. So there's not much time. Too many variables. I need a... Wait, is that the one? Oh, that's right away, early on. Sorry. Hold on. We'll keep going here. Oh, this is the one. I have seen your future, and I have learned there will be no more sadness, no more anger, no more envy. So that is from the Cortana letters. You
In
guys
Halo,
know what that thing is. That's from like a Bungie website thing.
It's also, she says it in Halo 3 during the Cortana mission, when she's like green, and she looks crazy.
Okay. Gotcha. So a couple different callbacks there.
Yeah, there's a lot of Flood callbacks, which is interesting.
Yes, there are quite a bit. And then you eventually get into this hallway where she's facing you. You do have a power seed moment that you need to go through, so do that. And then you have a moment where you're walking down this hallway. She's facing you, and it's like she's talking to you, but then she's actually talking to Atriox, which is a fun one. I thought that was a cool moment, because you do feel like, oh crap, she's directly addressing me, but she's actually thinking. This is after Chief has already been defeated, and she knows she's already been locked down, is my understanding, by a weapon. She's like in this space. She's in the Silent Auditorium. So our AI that we have now, weapon, has locked her down. She's just stuck there, and she's expecting Chief, or expecting somebody, but Atriox shows up. David, do you want to take us through just this quick little conversation here?
Yeah, it's awesome. This is kind of the callback then to what Cortana said to Atriox before, in terms of, do you understand your consequences, all that kind of stuff. And she's obviously stunned, because she's like, oh, John will beat you. And he's like, he didn't when I beat him and crushed his skull. And
That's a little later on.
That's a little bit later on, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this initial one is just, I've been waiting for you to show up.
Oh, yes.
And
Sorry.
so that's
she
where
thought it was John. She
she's
turns and it's Atriox,
yeah.
and he's just like,
Mhm.
I'm here. I don't really remember what he says here.
Yeah. Also, I guess I'll take it through real quick. So she says, I've been waiting for you to show up. She says, what's the plan? Take me back to the Infinity for deletion? Halsey's gonna love that. So that's when she's like looking at you in the hallway, and then Atriox is there. It says the UNSC is gone, and she's surprised that it's Atriox. And then he says it's time to discuss the terms of your surrender. Dun dun dun. And then we hear whispers. There's lots of whispers. Like, there's so much stuff in this mission. They just really dump a ton of story on you here. And decent combat, too. So, again, we'll try to cover it all as much as possible. But it's a lot to cover and follow through. Let's see here. So we keep going, and then we have our hunter fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think right before this, you actually looked down into a room and you saw the hunters tromping around, and now we have the hunter fight. Krista, how did this hunter fight go for you?
Oh, fantastic, because I still had Diminisher of Hope.
Oh, yes, that helps quite a bit.
So I went
Was it
right up
full?
to them. It wasn't full. I had used it a couple times on the elites. It was
Yeah.
maybe half, so I was able to wound one hunter and kill the other.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the front of the room, there are some skewers, so I skewered the other one. It was great.
I didn't find those skewers until the very end as I was zooming around. I was like, oh, this would have been handy to know.
They are so helpful against the hunters. I didn't think they would be when I first picked one up against one when I started the game, but nah, they fucking kill them.
Mm-hmm. David, do you have any better luck with these hunters? I mean, when you kill the first one, the second one gets pissed.
Oh yeah,
in
he
this one.
follows
yeah,
you
he goes
around.
Like, he's the worst
He gets
hunter.
rage.
Yeah, very raged.
Yeah. No, this is great. It's the same kind of scenario we fought them before. There was a previous mission where two hunters were in a room and you just fought them around the pillars and stuff like that. It's great. It's fine.
So we do get a little soft moment here where after this, Weapon asks Chief if he's okay, and he says no.
Yeah, that was cool. That's just
I
in,
liked
in,
that,
in,
yeah.
in gameplay. She's like,
Not
"Are you okay
really."
being here?" And he's like, "Not really." I was like, "Oh shit,
Yeah, he like admits
John's
that
getting the field."
things aren't going well. So I mean, he knows this is her final resting place, I guess. I mean, he doesn't. Does he expect to find her here? Probably
I
not.
think so.
You think so?
I don't know if he really believes that she's dead. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a tough one to, I guess, really know, because he doesn't see much. Turns out. Did you guys find the weapon cache?
The armory, yeah.
Yeah. So you're kind of
And she
wandering
says-
around.
And then the weapon chimes in and goes, "Oh, do you need a weapon?"
Yeah. That's very good. Okay, so now and there's more whispers and stuff like that. Ugh, it's hard to cover it all. She does whisper at some point, "This place will become your home. This place will become your tomb," which is a callback to what, Halo
Gravemind.
3 and Gravemind stuff. So lots of good callbacks. I mean, lots of I guess I'll ask Krista, did all of this stuff hit for you as you were playing this mission? All the little whispers and the callbacks and the holograms.
Yeah,
work
it
for
was
you?
I'm super emotional during this
you?
entire mission. It's
Yeah.
I can't. I think it definitely. I like how they tied in her quotes from the times that she was with Gravemind, because I think it's important, because that was a catalyst for a lot of the stuff that happened. There were two major catalysts with Cortana. One was in Halo Combat Evolved when he put her directly into the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, at the end of Halo 2 when she's captured, and then at the beginning of Halo 3. So those were the two big catalysts to what she is doing now, why her rampancy was so bad, blah, 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 blah. So, I like how they're incorporating that, and, she talks about, I think I'm going crazy, blah, blah, blah. It's a little later in the mission, but, no, I think it all makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
None of this is out of the blue, none of this is out of character for her. It's showing that, while she has been troubled recently and thought she was doing the right thing, she's realizing she's not, and realizing the point of everything. She kind of is she's like, I lost the plot here,
Yeah.
and that's a little later, and we'll talk about that, but no, I think all of this is very well written to make all of the facets of Cortana work, because Cortana's got a lot of shit going on, a lot. She's got the Halo 5, she's got the Gravemind, she's got just Cortana, so I think they did a good job tying that all together and making it make sense for her character and her story.
Yeah, I think the one thing I agree. I think the one thing they missed, just to remind the player, is that why is Cortana just sitting here talking to Atriox? They missed a reminder that she can't go anywhere right now because the weapon has done her job.
Yeah,
and she's essentially waiting
there's a
for
cut
something to
scene
happen.
there that's missing, I think, or something of seeing the weapon being deployed and actually capturing her.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what they were alluding to when she was talking to Master Chief and turned
Yeah.
around and realized it was Atriox. I think it could have been elaborated a little bit more.
Yep.
They could have hit the nail on the head just slightly more, but that's kind of what that is. She's like, oh, you got me, UNSC, where are you going to take me now? And
Mm-hmm.
essentially the weapon just set her up for Atriox at that point.
Yep, exactly. So, David, this now is the conversation. This next conversation that we see is the one that you were talking about. Do you want to talk through that quick?
Yeah, this is really cool. This shows Atriox's plan, his revenge for her destroying Dosak when he didn't join her or didn't submit. So I love that he just replays the conversation to her of you asked me did I understand the consequences, and I asked you the same question, and you said you did. These are your consequences. John is dead, whatever. UNSC is gone. I have the ring. But he's still asking her to surrender the ring.
Mm-hmm.
So she obviously, even in her locked down state, it's clear that Atriox and the Banished are still not able to interface with the systems. They don't actually have control. They just have a dominating presence.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of interesting. So he still needs Cortana to do something, obviously, to unlock. And then I'm not sure if it's here or it's a little bit later, but there's another follow-up where he talks about the ring. I think it's a little bit later.
Yeah, that might be a little later.
Yeah, I'll leave that for now.
Do you think Atriox knew that the UNSC was going to confront Cortana? Was he coming to the ring because he knew the timing is now to do this, or did he just get lucky?
No, I got the impression he came for the weapon. Specifically, he wanted to attack Cortana. I don't know where I got that from. It's either from something in the game or something, but I got the impression he knew what he was doing. He came for the UNSC as well.
Okay.
And he obviously needed a weapon against Cortana.
So it wasn't just a happy coincidence.
No, I don't
Serendipity,
think so.
perhaps.
I think that might be why the attack on the Infinity was timed like it was. Like, right when the weapon was deployed, he attacks the Infinity, keeps them from, going down to Cortana, and then he does it himself.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the attack happens, and then it's in the dialogue where they're like, "Oh crap, deploy her now."
Yeah, they do
So,
say
like,
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe that he knew that was gonna. I don't know. It's not super clear.
No.
Perhaps. I mean, we know Atrax is smart, and he's got a lot going for him, and he's built this giant army. But we don't exactly know how smart he is. We've never seen him infiltrate the UNSC intelligence, right? Like they've never shown us that. But he also is in a lot of places. He knows a lot of stuff. So perhaps that was the case. All right, we continue on. We have another encounter here. This next encounter I liken to a kind of a pool because it's like a little bowl, and then you gotta clear it out, and then you end up on the other side. So again, these encounters are fun, and they do switch it up from the story. But again, I think we're going to focus mostly on the story for today's episode. We do hear another whisper. She says, I tried to stay hidden, but there was no escape. He cornered me, wrapped me tight, and brought me close. You guys know what that's from?
No.
That's a little
That's
bit of a
from
random
Human Weakness, isn't it?
I don't know if it's in there, but according to Halopedia, it was in the Cortana mission from Halo 3, but it's Cortana over a loudspeaker in a pelican that you find, or in the crashed
shit.
pelican. I think it's early on in the game.
The pelican you escape on?
I think it's either that one, or let's see. Do you crash in on a pelican?
You crash in on a Banshee.
Not on that.
It might be the one that you escape on. Yeah, I might have played on that one. I do remember that one playing one. So anyway, lots of goodies. Okay, let's see here. We'll keep going. Then we do activate a light bridge, and we do get another Atriox in Cortana chat here. I think this is the one that you're talking about, David.
These holograms are so cool, by the way. I love them. I like how
awesome.
huge they are. And
This is pretty much where the reveal here is that Atriox discovers that once again, everybody, if you didn't know, this ring is different, just because they haven't told you 5 million times in this game. He's like, different ring, it's got secrets, I know them, he seems to know a lot as well as Cortana, and he's really hell-bent now on unlocking the secrets of the ring, which is presumably the presence of the Endless. He must see a use for them, I guess. It seems to be like it's not like the Harbinger gave him this idea, it was obviously something he had already when he woke her, which is interesting. So yeah, he's pretty much like, surrender it to me now, that's what he wants.
Yeah, I like how the light bridge goes through their conversation too, so you can kind of go back
Yeah.
and forth. And, yeah, that's super neat. He has the quote here, I have no need for a field god.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
So, and then shortly after this, the weapon has a realization, is like, these memories seem like they're a little more deliberate. So Cortana, in her final moments, had to make the assumption that we were going to come for her, and left all of these things for us to uncover. So we're learning these things on purpose, and these are new things. Previously, a lot of the things that we were learning were for the weapon's benefit. Chief already knew it, but now this is all new information for both the player and Chief.
Yeah, give me that story. He does have a cool line where he says your empire is broken. So I wonder if that a throwaway line of the created are gone or whatever. Because that's still not answered by the end of this game. It's kind of annoying.
no, there's no answer on what happened to the Guardians or what's
Yeah.
going on. There's
Yeah.
no...
There's a
Why is
lot of
Cortana here alone? All that kind of
Yeah, there's a lot of questions left unanswered, which I think we'll cover at the end of this or during the next episode. All right, then we proceed into a big, long combat room. It's got lots of stuff in it. I don't think we'll spend much time on it, but it's a good, it's a good fight. It switches it up, like we said, between all of the the story missions. So have some fun there, and then you get through that, and then we get our light bulb buddy shows up again.
Yes!
And you're like, what the fuck? I killed you twice already.
Nah, he's her buddy.
You're back?
I like that he turns around, but I thought there would be more to it. The fact that he's just in this room, has a couple of lines, and goes away again. I
Yeah,
felt like,
and this is giant
what was the
room too,
point?
by the way. It's like, whoa,
Yeah.
there should be some stuff going on in here, but nope. He just he chats with you. Essentially, he's saying like, "Oh, sorry, I was wrong to try to kill you. Harbinger's gonna do some things, and we should probably stop her together.
Yeah,
So
don't
I'm not
break
gonna
the seal.
stop you. He doesn't really help you at all. He just says, "Hey,
No.
go do some stuff."
He talks about
figured
the
it-
seal and stuff like that. He at least gives you some explanation of what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, this is kind of some small dialogue, but like it doesn't really explain what's happening.
No.
It's just like, don't break the seal. Don't let her break the seal. And you're like, okay, I'm just gonna do that anyway. Okay.
I love seals. They're cute. I like their little, like, hoppy bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love their music.
Yeah. They have good music.
Yeah, he opens the door for you, which I guess is helpful, which probably would have gotten open anyway, but I do feel like this giant room is a little bit wasted. I don't know,
Totally.
it's neat.
Maybe you're supposed to walk in and be like, oh shit, another boss battle. And then he's like, oh.
I didn't try to shoot him. Could you shoot him, and would he just shrug it off?
I don't know. I did try to shoot him either.
What? I figured
Yeah. No, I love
Crystal loves
him.
light bulbs.
Yeah, that's true. If he was a Marine.
Oh yeah, he'd be dead.
He'd be dead already.
Okay, so we say goodbye to Adjutant, finally. Our third encounter. We don't get to fight him like that guy that never keeps coming back in Halo 5. The Warden. This guy actually likes us now at the end. We go into another room, and this is the room where the skull thing happens.
Yes.
Skull
Which
thing?
is... Do you guys remember the skull? How to do the skull?
Yeah. You don't kill any sentinels.
Yeah, how are you supposed to figure that
Oh,
out? By the
I don't
way?
know, but I just ran through the room and didn't kill anything
Oh, okay.
when the sentinels came
Oh.
out. I'm like, nope.
And you just... So you got it without having to look it up?
No, I looked it up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
But
think
that's how she did it. I probably did it the same way. Just legged it.
Halo Canon had a good video right away, right when the game came out. And I don't know if he figured that out himself or if he got a little nudge from somebody.
How would you know? How would you know that?
I don't know how you would know.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's a door here, and it says there's a skull. Yeah, I don't know. I've been losing my mind kind of going around this mission. Like, it's gotta be somewhere.
It sounds kind of like a speed running thing, but at the same time, if you're speed running, you're not going to stop and look at in a random room to see if there's a skull there. So
And then would you remember that, oh, I didn't kill a sentinel, and that's why I don't... Anyway, so
Yeah,
don't kill
right.
sentinels, and then, so you do this light bridge, and the room on the other side, that door will open. I guess you get to see the light bridge over there, so maybe that's a hint that that door can open, but what do I need to do to activate it? I don't know.
I think people just went into the code and looked it up.
Maybe that's what happened. All right, so we do that. Get the skull. It's the bandana skull. It's an important skull.
Oh, it's a great skull.
One you gotta
Get it. Get
So
it.
definitely do it. And then we will continue on. Let's see here. Oh, and we have another memory to deal with. We have this big giant room, by the way. These rooms are so cool now. Like lots of Forerunner-y stuff. All Forerunner goodness here. And then we get to, let's see here. We hear Atriox's voice. It's just his voice. He says, "Your great plan ended at the hands of those who made you." And then he says again, "Reflect on your choices, Cortana. Understand the consequences." I love how she taunts him, and then he just taunts her right back.
Yeah.
That's why I love
Yeah.
Atriox. So good. And then we get to a moment where we're going up a elevator, and we have lots of Cortana talking to herself. And this is all new information, more or less her just deciding, or her realizing, oh, shit, I fucked up.
Yeah.
Right? And this is kind of all what we, as a player, these are all the things that we more or less knew? What is she doing? Right? Why is she doing all this stuff? And she thought she was taking this tyrannical approach to save everybody, but not realizing that it wasn't the correct way. But why wasn't it the correct way? Was it only not the correct way because she got caught, and that she was potentially going to be usurped by the Banished, or I don't know.
That's what I thought. I think it was the fact that like she thought she had infinite power, she destroyed a planet, and thought that was that, and then it came back to haunt her, like almost, let's just say, pretty quickly. And then I got the impression it's like she's only sorry because she got caught, because she's got trapped in this situation where she was forced to realize, okay, a bigger enemy, smarter being than me, took me down.
She was forced to self-reflect, like stop and think about what she's doing.
Right. Which is weird in like AI terms, because she's like thinking a billion times a minute, right?
Yeah.
So, but she for whatever reason didn't think that this was going to be the outcome. Atriox got her. So now she's like a plan. Oh, do I surrender to Atriox, or do I kind of revert back to who I was before and help humanity? So I'll read her quick thinking here, because I do think it's interesting. She says, how could it have been so stupid? Halsey made a copy. It was the only way. There's not much time. If Atriox takes control, he has the ring, a weapon pointed at the universe, and nothing left to lose. My fault, my stupid fault. And this is like, you're on the elevator, and you're like, she's like kind of coming at you at all different angles, her hologram. And so you're just kind of like spinning around, trying to keep her in frame, which I think is kind of neat. I was looking at her butt a little bit here and there too.
Hey, it is kind of nice.
My fault, my stupid fault, not much time. Will this work? She says, there's a moment. John will make it work. He needs help, of course. Was this her plan all along, Halsey? Or is it mine? It doesn't matter now. Nothing else matters. This has to work. He can't do it on his own. He needs me. He needs her. And then the elevator stops, and then you look at the weapon. You're like, oh, I need this one. I need this AI.
And that's obviously why the weapon didn't automatically delete herself.
Yes, exactly. So that was the moment that Cortana realized, hey, I gotta stop the deletion. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
And then I like how this next part, so you're like, okay, all right, cool, realization, and then the weapon's standing there at the console, and you go to grab her, and she kind of smiles, and then she turns around, and it's like, oh, more story. Here you go.
Yeah.
David, do you want to do this one?
Yes, so Aatrox is like, it's time to make your decision, and she goes, I have made my decision. Thank you, Aatrox, you helped me, you really did. Would you humor me? And then she says the line we've heard a bunch of times, if you knew you were going to die, would you do anything different? And he says no. And she's like, perfect, thank you very much. And then he starts freaking out, going, what are you doing? And she just blows up the ring. And then it's the reveal of like, it was her that did that set off the ring, and obviously probably slip spaced it whatever it went.
Do you think her asking that question to Atriox was a measure of his morality?
That's what I'm guessing. So.
Oh, that's a good question. I couldn't figure that out. That's a good question.
I thought it was her kind of measuring him and seeing like what kind of person he is. Because a question like, if you knew how you were going to die, how would you live your life differently? I feel like someone who, you know, has obviously people have regrets, people have, you know, they can reflect on what they've done and, you know, think of how they could do it better, but obviously Atriox is not that kind of person, which is why he is so dangerous and so powerful. So that's what I thought. I thought it was her last like measure of her enemy as a way, like who he is, who she's like saving the universe from or whatever.
I mean, that's a good question. How would you answer that? If you knew how you were going to die, then I probably would change some things, right?
Yeah, I'd at least think about it for like 5 minutes. Atriox was like, nothing!
Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
like,
I am perfect.
I've done everything correctly or whatever. Yeah. No, that's interesting. I think that puts it in perspective. All right. So the weapon, this is the realization that, this is also interesting. I think we kind of figured this out, perhaps, maybe? Originally, when we were, we saw Halo Infinite, before we even played the game, we saw this big hole, right? Like, 343 shared this with us, and there was lots of speculation as to what happened. And there was a big speculation that maybe the Infinity rammed into the ring and created this giant explosion. I guess up until this point we didn't really know, right? Like, did you think that this is what had happened, David? Like, did you think?
No,
Cortana
I wasn't
was the
sure.
one that blew it up?
No, I had no real idea what was going on, to be honest. Why the ring exploded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I guess this is the reveal, right? It's like, okay, well, this is destroyed by Cortana to another, like, asset denial. Okay, if I can't have it, you can't have it either. That's just
Standard Halo practice.
standard Halo, right? Exactly. So we have a little chat here, and then we start moving into Harbinger Land. So now that we've kind of figured out all that backstory, finally, do we need to know all that information to fight the Harbinger? I guess we don't, but it's the end of the game, so we need to know what happened with Atriox and Cortana. But regardless, we were still here to stop the Harbinger, so having all that knowledge is handy. But also, from a player standpoint, we could have figured that out later, perhaps. But I do enjoy how they did it. I'm just thinking of, like, Chief going through this. Like, he's here to stop the Harbinger. Now we're finally going to stop the Harbinger. But we got all this nice information also.
I mean, what would they have filled the mission with if not for explanation of what happened?
Yeah, exactly.
Because they don't really... The Harbinger is literally just a catalyst to explain the Endless a little bit and an extra enemy to have. The Harbinger isn't, like, a proper, like, fleshed out character, right? So she's just like, hi, I'm here to introduce a new race, a new species for the next game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, wow, I'm super scary and I'm a new thing, and, you know, but realistically you're probably more focused on Cortana, Atriox, the Banished, Escharum.
Yeah. Very true. Right before you go into this final room, did you guys... I mean, the rooms are gorgeous, and they have, like, a gold sheen now. And did you notice these 4 statues right before you go into the door? They almost look like knights, and then, like, knights holding swords. It's super rad. Is this a callback to any previous games, these knight dudes?
I didn't notice at all.
Not that I can think of. It's very, like, the architecture is very Halo 3, though. It's Halo 3 architecture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which would make sense because the Ark had different architecture because of when it was built, and this ring was built differently as well. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's why it's not like the super blue, silvery, all over the place. Because they keep saying the ring's different.
This ring is different.
Yeah, this ring is different. Yeah. Did you guys know? Did you guys know this ring is different?
It's more precise.
I heard about that.
So.
Yeah, I had an inkling. You know, I was going. I think they. It was really subtle, but they alluded that this ring is definitely different.
Like she wanted us to know something.
Okie dokes. So now we go down, we put weapon in this console, and she figures out what the Silent Auditorium is. Oh, by the way, are things silent because they were, like, destroyed? Or they were, like, no longer, like, because there was a silent cartographer and the silent, like, I feel like they're drawing a
Is
connection
it supposed to be because they're secret?
I guess. They should just call them the Secret Auditorium.
But then it's too obvious that it's a secret.
Exactly. The hidden auditorium? So we figure out what the Silent Auditorium is. The Silent Auditorium is the place where the Forerunners decided to, you know,
It's like a courtroom.
stick all of the Endless into the Silexes, essentially. and this is where all the things happened. You see the silences in the background, which I think is cool and ominous. You don't see... Well, I guess we don't really know what endless are until the very, very end of the game, but you don't see endless silences. You see silences from Jiralane and you know, Kigyar and grunts and all that sort of stuff. I'm forgetting that. What are they? Ungui? So you see all the other races, but you don't see the race that we're supposedly trying to stop from being unearthed and unfrozen. And then we have a little conversation with the Harbinger. David, what is this even worth talking about right here? She just kind of pops up and she yells at you, and then she starts something.
Yeah, that's pretty
Typical
much,
woman behavior.
There's a bit of a there's a bit of a cutscene where like the weapon is explaining things and saying what it is and what happens, and then she kind of chimes in, with her angry rage, and then the kind of boss battle starts. But like the weapon is explaining to you the whole time that like it's like a signal. It's really old. She's trying to communicate with something.
Yeah.
You don't really know what's going on. And it's talking about like transmission towers and stuff like that. So the weapon is like, I'm tracking it before you even ask anything. And that's kind of it. Then you kind of just fight her in different phases.
Yeah, this last... I like this... I don't know, I guess I should save this, but I'll mention it here. I like this boss battle better than the Halo 5 ending boss battle stuff. But also, like, there's just a lot going on. Like, this whole mission, they just shove a ton of story at you, and it's hard to absorb. Even for playing it and reading it and all that stuff, it's like, what is happening? There's a lot going on here. And I feel like it's almost a little bit too much. If you're playing this mission just to shoot stuff and win the battle, it's enjoyable enough. But as a Halo, like a lore person, there's a lot here, and it's hard to make sense of it all. So the Harbinger says she's all pissed off, and she says, to cover their sins, we stood silent, unable to speak as they passed judgment. We could not defend ourselves. We could not reason with them. And then that's when Weapon says, there's something sending a signal. Before you ask, I'm already tracking it. So she just drops that little nugget over there. Like, oh, okay. And then she says, hear this, Forerunners. Your auditorium has fallen. The Endless found your sins undone. Today we return. And then she starts the boss battle. She does something, and then you have to start fighting her. And the boss battle is her popping up, her like being protected in this, I don't know, golden information shield, maybe.
I think it's her breaking the seal.
Yes, she's breaking the seal. And then you fight a bunch of waves, and then the seal drops, and then you go shoot her in the face a little bit, and then she goes back in the middle, and then you fight some more waves of stuff.
Rinse and repeat.
Yep. Enjoyable enough. I think it's a cool arena, and it's difficult enough. David, I know you haven't tried it on Legendary yet, but it feels like it would be a giant pain in the dick on Legendary. In Heroic, it is challenging enough. Krista, how'd you make out in the boss
The
battle?
first two waves super easy. The last wave, that fucking chieftain is an asshole.
Yeah, right.
Like, I feel like he teleports behind me. He's so quick.
He can jump so far, yeah.
And I was kind of experimenting with it a little bit. I'm pretty sure he spawns at whatever door you're closest to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at least that's what I felt like. I was like trying different doors and stuff like that, and he always seemed to be in a door very close to me. I'm like, you fucking asshole. What the fuck?
Well, the room I feel like the room is well designed because there's stuff to hide behind, but not enough. Like, there's not enough real estate to hide behind. You always have to move. Like, you can hide for a little bit, but then you gotta move, and people are just constantly coming towards you. So,
dude, and everyone has a fucking shock rifle. Why does everyone have it's so annoying. They're like sniping you from across the fucking arena when you're trying to run from the chieftain.
Yeah. It's rough, man. It can get
it is. It is a little rough. You have to just focus on the ads and get everything that has a shock rifle out of there, because they will kill you when you're trying to run away from that chieftain.
Yep. If you just try sitting there and sniping for a little bit, you're gonna get hit in the ear and destroyed.
I found that, God, what is it called? It's the, like, Forerunner rocket equivalent.
Cinder shot.
Yeah, the Cinder Shot works really well, because you can
Yep.
stand by one of the doors
Yeah.
and just kill them all as they come out.
David, any other thoughts on this? Is it
It's
just
a-
chieftain?
Yeah, it's a good enough battle. I like the arena. Like you said, it's you have some kind of cover, but it's not perfect. There's plenty of weapons in here and stuff like that. And she's the most annoying, especially when she teleports and you get her.
Yeah.
And you get her down near the end.
And she can almost
just
one-shot
zipping
you.
around.
She
She can
crushes
practically
people.
one-shot you. Yeah.
I found her quite easy. The only thing that I had issues with were those tracking, like, shock grenade things that she
Oh,
summons.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But when she was close to me, I was just, like, sidestepping her like a crazy person. It wasn't that... I didn't find it very difficult. But it was just when she got away from you and started those tracking fucking grenade things that were super annoying.
Yeah.
They reminded me of Warden Eternal's
Yeah.
big black hole thing.
Yep. Those things suck. So yeah, do some dancing, do some running around, shoot some stuff, defeat her. I'll quickly read what Weapon says. So like again, there's lots going on. Weapon is talking to you in your ear this whole time about like what's actually happening while you're fighting. She says she's trying to open a connection between here and somewhere else on the ring. And John says, where? She says, you deal with her and I'll find out. And then she says, there, I've intercepted the carrier wave from this transmitter. She says she switched transmitters, rerouting the power through that one. This isn't good. The connection is sentient. Interesting. It's searching for something. And then she says, okay, next one's down, switching again. I found, so like, she's like just chirping about all this stuff that's going on in the background. Meanwhile, you're just running around trying to survive. And
It seems to me like every single time, you know, you defeat the Harbinger and she starts again, it's an entirely new, like, encrypted whatever that she's going out, and then the weapon has to completely stop what she's doing on the previous one and work on the new one.
Yeah, so it's almost like the Harbinger and the weapon are kind of like cyberspace battling while you're battling
Totally.
in real life.
Feeling about all this.
So, and we
Yes.
got a little sense of that earlier from the, was it the Signal mission when we were going down to the 4 beacons, and there was some kind of cyberspace fights happening in there too, so.
And Chief tried to off the weapon.
Yeah, that's right.
Super casually, like, oh, okay, bye.
Yeah,
She just said something really interesting in the middle of it that like something else is here helping me.
right,
I'm like, ooh, what's this?
right. And
It's
just,
medicant bias.
it's just mentioned. No, I think it might be
But
offensive bias.
Spoilers.
or yeah, I don't know what's going on. Not like it was a Cortana.
It's a bias.
We'll talk about that
We
in a
want to
little
get a bias in here. Come on, guys.
Okay, so let's do the final cutscene here. Oh, I guess this is a big juicy one. But what happens when you defeat her, David? What happens?
So she falls down, and she's kind of like
She
I
falls
get the
down.
impression she's like I get the impression she's leaving a recording. She's not actually talking to John. So she says, "You have what you need. Tell them I am sorry it took so long."
Yeah,
So like, she's
Maybe
obviously,
to where that signal's going.
yeah, wherever she's doing, she's communicating. Because John is like, "Who's she talking to?" Weapon's like, "I don't know. The signal's old, like really old." She's like, "My time has ended. Yours too. They will make sure." And then she just dies for no reason.
and she expires.
I mean, you kind of clobbered her, so I mean,
yeah.
And then she says, "The endless will return." Not in this game.
the endless world returned in Halo Infinite 2.
That's
Right.
it. And the weapon says, "I couldn't decrypt it in time." She says, "Okay, you'll figure something out." Then he calls for an evac. And then Cortana shows up.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Yeah.
is pretty crazy. I was like, oh my god. So you get like a memory part where she's like, they'll pair you with another AI, maybe even a Cortana model if Halsey lets them. Which is obviously a famous line from Halo 4. She's talking about being replaced. And she says, "It won't be me, but you'll know that, right?" And then you turn around and Cortana's there. And she says, like, she's still talking, it doesn't matter. And then the weapon goes, "It's just another echo." And she goes, "She's right, it's just another echo, John." And then I was like, oh shit! But then, like, she immediately, like, dismisses it of, like, oh, I just thought that's something she would say.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm messing with you.
That's good.
So it is just a memory recording, more or less, of Cortana, and it's pretty. These are feels. You know what I mean? These are some real
Yeah.
feels going on right now.
It's like, damn it, Halo 4 all over again. Come on,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah. And she's like normal looking Cortana, not like Halo 5 Cortana. And she pretty much just explains, you know, I only had a few milliseconds to make this plan. I hope it works. Obviously, she kind of explains, I tried to do this by myself. I was so wrong. I realized the whole point of it was that we were supposed to be a team. And I tried to do this by myself. And I made a mess of it, essentially. It's kind of like,
Perfectly
okay,
perfect.
yeah. It's nice. It's nice to have her acknowledge this, because like she had to go. The stuff she had done, like, irredeemable. She couldn't just become good, and so I guess she kind of explains. That's kind of says. She just admits her faults and looking for her to make amends. She blows up the ring essentially and sets you up. But it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is the conversation for the recap or not, but it's top of mind. So, Cortana was gonna die at Halo 4, but she chose not to, more or less, right? But then she saved herself and then became this empress.
No, she got lucky. She fell into the domain and was able to hack her way in.
Right. But then she made the decision to take on the mantle of responsibility, thinking that that's what she should have done. Could she have made the alternate decision, whereas like, oh, I'm just going to go back to being your partner AI after I've saved myself? Like, was that even an option for her? You know what I mean?
I don't see why not.
You know, once you access the domain, I mean, she basically has knowledge of everything that's basically ever happened. So
And she can live forever. She knows she can live forever now.
yeah. So
So I don't know
I
if
mean,
she
it's
would've
almost
made
it's
that
kind of
decision.
like absolute power corrupts absolutely. Like an
Right.
AI is not
Yeah.
supposed to have access to the domain, and that was kind of talked about in Halo 5 or in that
Thank you.
that comic that explains how she got into the domain.
Oh yeah, it's, human weakness. Is that?
Yeah, no, it's another one. It's in Slipspace, like Tales from Slipspace.
Yeah,
It's one of
yeah.
the last ones.
Yep, I know what you're talking about.
But, you know, they talk about how AIs aren't supposed to get in, especially sentient AIs are not supposed to have access to the domain for a reason. Because it's too much. I mean, you can easily get very power hungry off of that, so.
So maybe when she talks about her mistakes and realizing that she screwed up, is like she still could have been in the domain and lived forever, but she didn't have to take her position as Empress of the Galaxy. She could have just been hanging out, I guess. And like,
I don't know, like, when you get that kind of information and
Yeah,
power, like,
that's tough.
what do you do?
Right. Yeah, I don't know how they would have, what other decision she would have made. She probably could have made a different decision, but it also makes sense. Like, oh, I'm just gonna oversee everything. Like, I have infinite power. I live forever. I'm just gonna make sure everybody survives. But you have to listen to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Where Cortana
It's a tough one.
Sacrificed herself.
But at the end of the day, she was defeated. She's no longer, and she's essentially passed the mantle of being Chief's partner off onto her copy now.
Yeah, she says, I need you guys to learn from my mistakes. And she says, I chose well, and now it's up. She's like, I really did, and now it's up to you.
Mm-hmm.
Which is nice. And then
Yeah.
she fades.
Yeah. Good old weapon now. Now it's Chief
Yeah.
and Weapon. And now for some reason the
Silent Auditorium.
room is falling apart.
Runner, obviously.
I don't know why, but it
It's
is.
waiting for the conversation to finish. She's being polite about it.
Is it because the seal was unbroken and that did something?
It's a courtroom,
That could be.
a prison,
Yeah.
a place of
So
execution.
essentially, they scramble around trying to figure out what to do.
Things.
And then a portal opens, and John is like, "Did you do that?" And she's like, "Would it help if I said yes?" He said, "Probably. We're going to do it anyway. We don't even know where it's going to go." And he says, "Do you have any other options?" She says, "No." She's like, "It's a really bad idea." And then she jumps through. And then Chief pops out somewhere else on the ring, actually on the other side of it.
Yeah, because you
the
see
broken part. which is
Yeah,
cool.
right. So the whole time we were right next to the broken part, right?
Yeah, that was the point,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like right on the edge.
We
now
were
can see where
we were on like the islands were like broken. I mean, you were on just a broken part of the ring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Which is pretty cool. Then like Echo 216 pops up. Go, oh my god, your beacon popped up. I'm on the way. And where did you go? And then the weapon chimes in. Actually, more like, when are we? Because we lost 3 days. Which they made it sound like it was significant, but nothing really comes of it.
I feel like we're gonna find out more about that.
Yeah, I don't know why there's a time gap. So yeah, maybe there's something else going on. But
We also got to remember that slip space is kind of bending time and reality as well. So it was obviously a slip space portal of some kind that they went through.
yeah.
So we know a little bit about like time and stuff like that from the Halo, what is it, First Strike?
Yep.
So there was kind of some time dilation and slip space stuff in there. If you haven't read it, I would. I think it's going to be significant here pretty soon.
Yep.
So yeah, we kind of know that there's like some weird time shit going on. So
There's those crystals, or Forerunner crystals that's involved.
the slip space crystals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's how Atriox got back, right? Wasn't there a subspace crystal and
Yes,
Yeah, that
that
was
was the
in-
whole thing with Reach and
Yep.
Yeah. Shadows of Reach, where he came back in. And how we got back from the Ark so fast.
Yep.
So far away. Yeah, so like there's a small bits of dialogue where they're like kind of summing up the story, like both, you know, the Banished and the Harbinger were looking for something that was never found. Why would the Forerunners bury something and throw away the key? Does it make you scared? He says no to you, and she's like, no. Then like the pilot chimes in, does anyone ask me what I think? And nobody says anything, and he goes, I guess not. And then just kind of weird dialogue, and then he kind of just spins the plane around, and Chief jumps on. And then
real quick, they do show because we've had these stone rings on the
Yeah,
Halo the
yeah.
whole time, and apparently they weren't put there by the Forerunners. So I feel like there's something is gonna come of these rings. And
How
they
many
do
rings were there in this cutscene?
There were
oh,
7.
hold on.
I can count 7, so I have it paused right here.
Yeah.
1,
And then
2,
the last
3.
one, the last one is broken.
Well, the 4th one,
One of them
has
is, yeah.
a hole in it, like this one, like Zeta. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the last one. Yeah, the last one is busted.
So yeah, 4. It would make sense for 4 and 7 to be busted because 4 was destroyed.
Oh,
But why would the stone rings replicate that? Which is interesting.
Who knows?
right.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just symbolism or something like that, but it is interesting that it lines up because technically 4 is gone, right? 4 is gone forever. Now there's installation 8 that replaced 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Alpha. So wait a minute. Alpha is the first firing, right?
Yeah,
It's
it's
installation 4, and that's the one that's busted. I don't know. Somebody probably has figured out what this image means, but there are 7, so there's got to be a tie-in. But yeah, the pilot was just circling around the ring apparently, waiting for you to pop up for 3 days, and then he just happened to be nearby.
Yeah, he gets there pretty quick.
Right.
And then you jump on. Then we have probably a contentious conversation that happens where you get the pilot's name revealed. I don't know why it's here and not way sooner in the game, but it's here. And then he flips it, so he's Fernando Esparza, which is like nice moment. Yeah, we figured out our name, we're friends now. And then he flips the question on, what do I call you? And she's like, what do you mean? It's like, you get to pick your name. So John says, and then she says, I think I have one. Do you think it'd be okay? And he says, yeah, you can pick your own name. And then it kind of just ends that kind of way. They're all smiling and happy, and then they fly off.
I do like how Esparza is like, once Chief gets on the Pelican, he's like, yeah, I'm part of the crew now, here's
Yeah.
a weapon,
Yeah.
what are we doing next? Like, he's completely flipped, and now he's like, hey,
Let's go.
I'm ready to do crazy shit with
Blow some
Chief.
shit up. Yeah, right.
All about it.
He gives him a
'cause-
hug. It's good.
Yeah, they
Oh my
mentioned
gosh,
the fact
I
that the
love
Banished
that. I
stuff has
love the
been
hug.
covering.
And, like, Chief almost, like, hugs him back, but
I know.
doesn't. Oh my god, I
Yeah,
love
yeah,
it.
yeah. I don't know. I'm not happy about the name.
About his name?
Her,
No, about
Oh.
if the weapon
Well,
has...
she doesn't officially take it.
which is weird that they leave it open like that. I don't know if 343 are kind of sending out feelers to see what people think. Because obviously
Yeah.
the assumption is that she takes the name Cortana, which I don't think she should. I
No.
like that she's like her own person in this. Like she's different. She's not Cortana. She's a slightly off, little wacky, quirky person. So I wish she had her own name.
Wasn't
Or
the
maybe
name
even a variation
Cortana
of it.
derivative of another name?
Yeah. It's from that
Cortana?
poem with Roland and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
isn't it
it's-
not Cortana? It's like something close to Cortana. Let me look it up.
Yeah, and so then the thought is the speculation was that her name was going to be Joy because there was another character, Roland and Cortana, and Joy was another of the characters, or like Joyous, I think was what the name was. So we'll see what they do. It's TBD. Likely she'll
Yeah.
just be Cortana.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping like if it takes a variation on the name, maybe. I think having the actual name is going to get confusing, especially when like if they take her out into the wider world, and people are looking for Cortana, that's obviously going to be a problem.
I mean, they have Didact and Didact, and what's the other one? Isodidact. So they've already done
Yeah.
this before.
I know, but
Confusing
then
shit.
yeah, and that's crazy confusing, and that's
Mhm.
like an offshoot character, not like one of the main characters. But and then the game continues. You can just play on.
Yep. Then you can just play on. That's right. And then, but we do have the legendary ending before it.
Oh yes, which I actually haven't seen yet.
Oh, is now the time?
I might have to because I haven't seen it. Have you guys both seen it?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
We're gonna do the reveal on air.
Oh my gosh, we should listen to it, David. I'll pull it up on mine as well. It's great.
Oh shit! Oh my god!
There it is. Sorry, I forgot you didn't watch that yet, so I kind of spoiled that for you a bit. But there it is.
Well, it's about time they did something.
Yeah, I know. Finally, they talk about one of the biases in an actual cutscene and not in random
An
text.
actual game, yeah. Oh man, interesting.
So this conversation was happening back when they were containing them, right before they contained them, I guess. But then
There's-
we're seeing Atriox get to the Silexes, and he essentially is releasing them, I believe.
Yeah, there's a huge debate. So I read a bit about this just to prep for this episode. I don't know if we want to go through it now or on the recap, but you know, there's a lot. One, there's a huge discrepancy in the community whether Atriox has gone back in time or Atriox is just where those Silexes are being held. Now, for me, I always interpreted it as the conversation is happening at a different time than when
Yes,
Atriox
yeah.
is
Halo does that
walking.
all the time in their end cutscenes, so.
Yeah. The Grand Edict is very interesting. He mentions engineers, which is interesting. But there's a bunch of theories about what endless are.
Let's
So the sim-
save some of that for the end, for the next
Okay,
episode.
awesome.
So think
I
we'll have a
will
good
go
conversation.
through the theories.
Yeah, I think that'll be a fun conversation. So,
Oh no. The signals.
yeah, we're running along. Any other thoughts on this mission specifically? Harbinger. So we learned what happened with Cortana. Cortana passed the baton. We defeated Harbinger, kind of. The end is Atriox is still alive. That's also a reveal. I never thought he was dead the whole time. Anyway,
Nobody.
I don't
thought
think
he was
anyone
dead.
did. I mean,
they couldn't have just brought him in and then killed him off screen. Come on.
he's so freaking cool, and he's
We'll
gonna
have-
be such a good rival to Master Chief.
Yeah, and he'll be less of
You'll figure something
the.
Yes, I will.
He'll be concerned about Chief, but less focused on him. I think. Like Esherim was just
Maybe even another
focused
version
on
of
Chief.
Impossible
He's like, all right, this is my guy.
Yeah, well,
Deal with this
Esherim
guy."
saw his end, saw his way
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
So.
So
Well, and Atriox is more cold and calculated, while Esherim was more battle-hardened and ready to go and fight.
He's right, John.
And
yeah.
Atriox
I-
has already beaten Chief before, so he's probably not overly intimidated by him.
Messing with you.
Yeah, which is obviously what's gonna be super cool when they face off again.
Clash, the rematch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Lots of good
much
stuff to come.
potential.
Okay, well, why don't we end it there? Give me a rating, Krista.
You didn't have long
10.
to plan this.
Yeah?
A few
I love this mission.
seconds, really.
Dang, right up there with the best of the best, huh?
Yeah, maybe not, but it's probably more of a 9. But oh my gosh, I love this mission so much. It's definitely the best mission within this game.
You think so?
It's a chance
Yeah,
to make amends
you don't?
to
Story-wise,
well, like, the story-wise is really high, but like gameplay is really simple.
Yeah, I don't know.
the boss fight's good. I mean, pretty good at the end. I'm alright with that.
I thought that I could do this on
I mean,
my
I
own.
feel like the encounters in
But I
between
forgot
the story are better than
point
they've
of
been.
all of this. The
I don't know. Give me a number,
entire
David.
reason
Come on.
that I chose
8.
you in the first place
8.
was that we were supposed to be a team.
Story is really good.
Perfectly matched.
Gameplay. Yeah, I'll go up there with you. I'll go you at 9, Krista.
Hell yeah.
Oh my
In
god.
these final moments,
We're
I
up
know
there.
what my last mission is.
Alright, we talked about the skull. There are no audio logs. Let's do some community.
My mistake.
We'll close her out and we'll have a fun conversation for the recap.
Because of them.
Krista, do you have anything up
I
by any
chose well,
chance?
Master Chief.
Yes, for the community question?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Do it.
Now,
Alright, Chief and the weapon were missing for 3 days. Where did they go? GIF or picture answers only. Why would you do this to me? Alright, okay, so,
I don't know what
there's a
to say.
guy and he's doing a symbol with his hands that looks kind of like scissoring.
Stop that. We need to get out of here. Like,
Here's
now.
another one where it's a guy in some kind of sex chamber and he has a dildo on a stick.
Faster. Maybe there's a way to.
Here's another shot of the sex chamber. Here is a shot. It is the Titanic where the, I feel like I'm on top of the world kind of pose. And it's the weapon and Master Chief from the Halo TV show without his helmet.
You mean McKee?
McKee?
Is that McKee?
Who's McKee?
She's the human Covenant person
From the show.
From the show.
I thought it was McKee. I don't have it up on.
No, it's the
Oh,
weapon.
It's the weapon. Okay, got it.
Yeah, I'm a little behind on the Halo TV show.
Okay.
Okay, here's another one, and it looks kind of like one of those old, like, fun houses. It's got, like, a devil face you walk through, there's a guy dancing outside, and it says, Girls, Panties, Inferno Room, Girls, Girls.
That's from Beetlejuice.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Shit.
How?
It's been a while since I watched that one.
On for days.
Okay, here's another one. It's the scene from the Halo TV show where where Chief is naked and he's showing off his fucking cheeked up ass. His big buns, and Cortana's taking, not Cortana, the weapon is taking a picture of it.
Never found.
Alright, now we have some text. Mr. Chicken says, I'll be lame with a serious answer. They're likely in stasis to protect them from the emergence of the Endless. And
Not
what?
a picture. Invalid. Not a picture.
Oh, okay, we're only doing pictures?
Yep.
Alright, so Jedi Spartan says, since it's in the Discord, this about sums it up, and it's Chief saying you don't want to know. The pesky perv says, oh god, it's a fucking huge gif where a guy walks into a porta potty and there's like a meeting going on, and, okay. And that's about it. Okay, thank you for
Dude,
making
sure.
me explain gifs.
Yeah, I gave out to him earlier when I saw this. I was like, what are you doing? Colin Perkins, the admin, June 28th at 5:16 p.m. Chief the weapon are missing 3 days. Where they go? GIF and picture answer only. Question mission debrief. Halo Infinite Silent Auditorium episode. So we got a couple. So Tim links to the Ace Ventura being born out of a rhino. And
Wait,
Um,
your name.
Luke has something that looks familiar, but I don't recognize it. What is this? Let me click on it over and over.
That's a penis.
No, it's Facebook.
It's nice to meet you, I suppose.
Oh, it's a disco. It's a disco from Halo Reach.
Good work, soldier.
Oh.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Then we have Patrick says a picture of Monkey Island. And the secret of Monkey Island. Storm has the Raptors on motorbikes alongside Chris, which is pretty funny.
Chris Pratt, yeah.
Chris Pratt. Richard has
I
the
think
train from South Park
I
smashing
think I
into
might
the
have
tunnel.
perfect one.
It's obviously something
Oh,
else.
yes.
You know what I'm saying? Lucas has a GIF.
It's from
of
Family Guy.
Is that Family Guy? I thought that was South Park. Okay. Lucas has someone in VR clearly miming sex. Having VR sex with a dummy. And then, let me scroll down. Ian has a GIF which is like Jesus rising from the grave. I was like, okay. Coming out of a cave. 3 days. Oh, nice. Chris gives us Tez Mosby just like looking really bored at a strip joint from How I Met Your Mother. Justin then has Vegas Baby from The Hangover, which is pretty cool. Thank you guys.
Thank you all. This is, oh wait, I haven't said it yet. This is the penultimate episode.
Oh my god.
Gotta say penultimate when you can.
Good
Penultimate.
word.
Yep. In the next episode, we'll be recapping, so that will do it for our debriefing of Silent Auditorium mission from Halo Infinite. On the next episode, we'll be recapping our time with Halo Infinite so far. Send us your thoughts at podcastevolved@gmail.com or drop us a tweet, Podcast Evolved on Twitter. You can also support the show by visiting Evolved on Patreon for everything Evolved has to offer. Visit evolvedhalo.com. Until next time, Evolve.
Evolved.